Further south, preparations include keeping a close eye on river levels.
Especially for residents along the Pearl River, North Shore Bureau Chief Ashley Roderick explains.
It usually takes a lot for people who live on or near the Pearl River to get worried, but tonight's already high river levels, coupled with the potential rainfall predicted from Harvey, have them on alert. Jessica Gawley with Honey Island Kayak Tours on the Pearl River is tying down her equipment for the night. But she's definitely concerned they'll stay that way next week if Hurricane Harvey heads toward Louisiana.
Well, we've had a lot of rain this year, as everybody knows, and so the water levels are a lot higher than normal. Usually we're about 4 or 5 feet water level in this area. Right now we're at 10.3 feet.
Further up the river in Bogalusa, Gary Parker says they're already seeing abnormal conditions for this time of the year, and what could come with Harvey could make that unprecedented.
And for that thing to get in our area and hang up and us get 2 to 3 foot of rain, it could be the worst we've ever seen, and we've seen some really bad stuff.
Fortunately, the National Weather Service is only expecting 5 to 10 inches over a 5-day period, most of it falling from Bogalusa south. Without additional water coming on top of that from as far north as Jackson, forecasters are only predicting residents to experience minor flooding along those waterways. That's oftentimes just water slightly outside of the river's banks with a gravel road or two closed. But parish leaders are preparing for anything.
We are planning on rain because that's what the National Weather Service is telling us, rain. And we have to look at all of our precautionary measures we can put in place.
For residents along the Pearl, those measures are helping each other prepare and spreading the word.
You really, if you got personal property on the river, you better check on it if you want to get it out and play it safe.
Where I live is actually the highland of my neighborhood, so I'm preparing for my property to become a parking lot.
But you're okay with that?
Yeah, I'm fine with that. Yeah, I'm good with it. As long as my neighbors have a way to kayak or canoe to my house, they can get in their vehicles and they can still make it to work.
Now, there was some concern about some river gauges being out along the waterway, making it hard to monitor the river levels. But the parish says all 11 of the gauges that they own are working and delivering data for review. In Pearl River, Ashley Roderick, Eyewitness News.
Harvey's impact on the Pearl River may not be as bad as some people are anticipating. Meteorologist Chris Franklin is here to explain why. Chris?
And that's right, Tom. Ashley kind of alluded to this. The Pearl River Basin is huge. It's not one of the smaller creeks or even smaller rivers on the North Shore. The basin actually extends, and the watershed itself extends well into central and even parts of northern Mississippi. So this is a huge area. Impacts from Harvey would only be on more the Louisiana and South Mississippi area. The only problems that we could see is that any natural drainage from the Pearl may be hindered because you're going to have tides running about 2 feet above normal. The river itself drains into Lake Bourne, and with the steady southeasterly and easterly wind, water level is going to be much higher. Now, I don't think it's going to be strong enough to send water up the Pearl, but it may kind of hinder a lot of the natural drainage. However, we're not anticipating a great deal of rainfall across the even lower part of the Pearl River Basin. Now, as we mentioned, all gauges are below flood stage, and in some instances well below flood stage. Now, the National Weather Service does not predict the precipitation that we're expecting in their gauge estimates, but right now, if we do see any kind of flooding, it should be fairly minor associated with the Pearl. Tom?